Greetings, everyone. I'm excited to welcome Aurora Maggio, CEO and co-founder at Zefi AI. Aurora, welcome to the show.
Hi, Ben. Thanks for inviting me. Really happy to be here.
Yeah, great to have you here. Let's dive right in. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, sure. So my background for a SaaS founder is a bit atypical, I would say, because I studied architecture, but I'm really happy about it because it really teaches you to look into problems from many perspectives, tackle them from different angles. And then I moved pretty soon to software because I was in computational architecture. So I was really into parametric stuff. And then I started working for an innovation office and those applying AI, big data for the city. So digital platforms for policymakers, smart cities, digital twin, all this stuff. And with my first startup, I completely, let's say, focused myself on software. It was about AI optimization. I wasn't one of the first founders, but I was still in the founding team. And so since then, it was 2018 that I'm focusing more on AI.
Okay,
Mm.
so yeah, great. So sounds like a pretty technical background that you have. Interesting journey. So let's talk about your current project, current company, Zefi. So what products and or services does Zefi offer?
Yeah, what we do with Zefi is aggregating, putting together all the conversation, the interactions that the company had with their clients. So, for example, the ticket for the customer support, calls from sales team, and all this qualitative data, and we convert them into quantitative data so that it's easier to extract insight to really understand how to improve the product and the customer experience.
Okay. And tell us, a few more use cases. So it'd be sales conversations or service conversations or customer. Is it anyone in a company talking to a customer and recording that and then converting that into usable data?
Yes, exactly. We take a lot of data from the customer support, of course, but also from, as you mentioned, from the sales team. So customer success is a bit between them. And the use cases are, let's say, understanding why the customers are churning. So trying to solve the root causes of churn, but also prioritize the roadmap. So really understand which feature they're asking for and what to build next.
Okay. And then tell us, sounds like maybe you're targeting SaaS companies and software companies, but tell us what industries are you targeting for Zephy?
Yeah, at the moment we are, let's see, our solution is pretty vertical on voice of the customer, but on the other side, our customers could be are B2B companies, B2C companies, and we love digital products because, of course, they have a lot of data that we can analyze. But we're working also with companies that have a physical product or service because still they have a lot of digitalized touch points and data. So at the moment, we are not focusing on a single vertical. In the future, if you're going to see a trend, then probably we're going to go deep in.
Yeah. Okay. So B2B companies, also maybe B2C. So it seems like huge markets. So any sort of ideal customer profile that you're looking at, like company size? Because I could see this as a lot of companies you could go after. So are you trying to find a certain profile first?
Yeah, the profile we're looking for is more on the role inside the company. So, for example, product manager, CPOs, or customer experience manager. Let's say the ICP, they're speaking about the single role. But companies at the beginning, we were targeting companies from starting from 200 employees. But then we realized it's not really the company size; it's more the amount of data they collect. So we also worked with smaller companies that have a lot of clients. And so, for example, B2C companies can also be smaller in terms of team, but they have more touch points, more clients, so more data than, for example, larger B2B companies. And but on the other side, really big B2B companies still have, let's say, a really high customer acquisition cost. So, for example, for them to reduce the churn is really important.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a ton of sense. So I'm gonna make sure I understand. So are you how are you getting that data again? Are you recording calls and those conversations and then converting that data?
At the moment, we connect with all the other SaaS that the company is using. So, for example, if you have a transcript tool, we take directly the AI transcript, and today we have tons of data on that side. That is, they are harder to read than the notes that are already kind of a summary. And then we take all the CRM tools, the customer support tools, and today also a lot of chats because many companies are implementing chatbots, but we basically focus on the reply from the customer. So we delete all the automatic parts and we focus on the data coming from the real world. And these are some of the example. Then it really depends from what the company is really looking into. Because, for example, some companies want to monitor their competitors, so we take the feedback of their competitors' clients from public sources like Trustpilot or Play Store app stores.
Okay, so interesting. So you're really mining that internal data, from different software systems or transcripts data, but also you can go to Trustpilot review sites and also see what people are saying there.
Exactly.
And then it sounds like so physical product or service or even digital products. So it sounds like you can just as long as you can grab that data, you can help them.
Exactly.
Yeah, perfect. And then so what year did you found Zefi?
Officially, we funded it in 2023, so it's 1 year from now. But we started working on it, to be honest, a few months before, September 2023. So at the beginning of the year, yeah, in January. So it's 1 year in the odds.
Yeah, so still early stages, about 1 year
Mhm.
in. And then do you have a headquarters location, or you guys are all virtual?
We work in a hybrid mode, but we have the headquarters in Italy. So both in a small town in the south of Italy, probably nobody knows, but I came from Lecce, that is in Puglia, in the heel of the Puglia, let's say. And we also work a lot in Milan.
Okay, great. And then what about your current team size?
At the moment, we are less than 10 people. So we are hiring to reach that team setting under 10. So we're going to keep more or less this size until the end of this year. And then depending also on the growth that we're going to achieve, we can probably take more people on to help us with the operational stuff. But since now we're trying to make everything super scalable.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. Got to scale the right way. And so you're about a year in or so. So are you pre-revenue yet or revenue generating at this point?
Yeah, we are generating revenue. We close the different contracts with some companies. Yeah, now we have official customers.
That's great. Official paying customer is always exciting. And then tell us, we talked earlier about your ideal customer profile, targeting, physical product companies, digital product companies. So how are you finding these products, the product managers, customer experience? It seems like just a big pool of people to reach out to. So tell us a little bit about your go-to-market motion.
At the moment, we are prioritizing. We started with PLG, so it's not really product-led growth. Let's say it's more about inbound generation because we don't really have an open version of the product, but we share a lot of content about it. So we know that this problem is it's a real problem that a lot of people feel. So we know also how to grab, let's say, to grab their attention, talking about the solution or the problem itself. So most of the leads come through our website. They book a demo. Just submit for some materials. We have a huge library of other tools that's also kind of creating a bit of inbound.
Okay. Okay. So really relying on that inbound motion, either downloading something or they can book a demo, which is great. Love those inbound leads. And let's switch over to the fundraising side. How much capital have you raised to date?
Yeah, we raised 1 million.6, and yeah, we announced it 1 month ago, more or less, and we look forward to reach 1 million ARR within 1 year, 1 year and a half with this capital, and then go to the next stage.
That's great. And so 1.6, is that euros or dollars?
It's euros.
Euros. Okay. All right. So 1.6. It looks like that was characterized as a pre-seed round. So 1.6 million euros. So tell us about your fundraising process. I mean, did you know from the beginning that you'd raise capital, or was there a trigger or milestone that said you're ready for a pre-seed raise?
So we knew we were going to raise capital. To be honest, we wanted it to help us accelerate our growth. And we started like talking, to be honest, also there, we started receiving inbound from investors. especially a launch we did on product done with the first MVP, brought us a lot of contacts from the venture capital world. And it was interesting also to discuss them because we had a lot of challenges in the strategy, the defensibility, the go-to-market. So we really built a lot of also our thoughts around this conversation. And then we partnered with a founder here in Italy that helped us also in structuring the round. And we had the support of a lot of angels that were fundamental. So I really appreciated also that.
Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. So knew from the start that you're going to raise some capital, kind of accelerate the growth. And then in that pre-seed process, any lessons learned along the way that you'd like to share with other SaaS founders who have just started their company, early stages, who are thinking about that initial seed funding?
Yeah, maybe at the beginning I thought it was more, let's say, about strategy, but in the end, it was more about really getting to know people and discuss together the strategy and let them show them the product, let them understand the problem because maybe you're talking with the more people with a different background that didn't have the same problem you had, or let them speak with your customers. So really take them on board because of course, if you don't share openly, it's hard for them to understand all you're working on 24 hours a day per day. And so, yeah, I would say it's more about the people than about hype or any kind of strategy.
Yeah. In so you said about a month ago announced this. So where were you in your product roadmap? I mean, did you have a working product that people were using, or was it still an MVP or maybe just a concept? Tell us where that funding round hit, with where your product was.
Yeah, so we started talking with investor after the launch of the MVP, but we weren't still ready to close the round. So we decided to close the product and continue to collaborate to work with 10 companies, more or less, that became our co-design partners. Basically, they were aware that it was an MVP, so that we had to work on it. They were giving us a lot of feedback and in order to give them a solution, of course, but still it was a different approach from the one we have today with customers. So we had a Slack channel together talking about like operative stuff, but it really created a connection, a day-to-day connection, and that was great. It helped us a lot. And then when we closed the round, we already were speaking with our investor, but the moment arrived when we closed the first contracts. So there it was, of course, easier also to demonstrate traction and the interest from the companies that test the product.
And tell me about, I heard, design partners. So you had 10 companies that you're working with as design partners. And when I started interviewing founders, a couple years ago, this came up. I'm like, oh, what's a design partner? Oh, it's kind of those initial adopters. And so how did you find those initial 10? Because when you launch a product, it's like, all right, I'm desperate to get people to use my product. So tell us, how did you find those 10 design partners?
Yeah, we started reaching out on LinkedIn to companies in our ecosystem that we really like. And I have to say that founders were a bit more responsive because they knew what we were asking them. Like they probably, I realized it after working on our product that it's something it's hard to grab when you didn't do it. So of course, I would suggest to reach out to founder, tell them, hey, I'm building a company. I have an initial product. Do you want to test? Do you want to help me? And I have to say, I also spoke with people in the US ecosystem. Everybody in the founders VC world is pretty open to share and give feedback. So yeah, just like that.
Okay, yeah, so just setting up LinkedIn, different networks to find those, and maybe folks who are more, early adopters are open to trying new things. So appreciate that insight. So Aurora, at this stage of your company, about a year in, you've got some companies on the platform. Do you have a favorite number or metric that you're focused on to guide the business?
Yes, and now it's really more than the feedback that we receive with the request. Like my CPO probably, my co-founder and CPO Alex probably will take what I'm saying, but future requests, I think they are the best proof that you're doing something useful because they really need something and they reach out to you and they tell you probably it's not an exact metric, it's not a quantitative one.
Mm.
It's an upsell opportunity, and so it's also a market validation.
So you think so feature requests, so if you're getting a lot of feature requests, it seems like then maybe your customers are engaging in your platform, using it and want more. So you see that as like a good thing. And also, of course, yeah, who doesn't love cross sell, upsell, expansion potential?
Yeah, because I think that maybe the usage is, of course, a good metric. But when you are at the beginning, maybe you're missing something. So I think it's a better metric when you are more, let's say, yeah, more mature product. Where when it's an MVP, of course, you can't have everything. But if they reach out to you, it means that they see the potential. So they're not just churning and switching, trying a more mature product, but they're seeing something.
And it's so like early stage, with your product roadmap, there's so much to tackle, so much to do, it seems like. I mean, can you give us a little insight on how you prioritize those feature requests?
Yeah, this is not an easy question. But we try to use also Zefi for Zefi, so for ourselves. And what we do is before prioritizing a feature or whatever request, because at the beginning they will be also more like bigger requests. We try not to have the recency bias, so to put it in the backlog and see how many types of this feature people are asking for, and also how different things are related. So, for example, if something is a roadblock for something else it's gonna be prioritized. Otherwise, it's at the same level of the other stuff. So I would say combining the amount of time what something is requested and what the possibility that is unlocking.
Okay. Yeah. No, appreciate that insight. I mean, there's so many requests, so many things to do, so many things that you're thinking of that you want to do, because yeah, we know dev resources are so limited. So appreciate that. So we really appreciate your time as we wrap up. What's coming up next for Zephy?
Yeah, we have two challenges. The first one is make the onboarding on the product slightly more scalable so that we can also push a bit more our go-to-market and take more companies on board. While I would love to continue to have the same relationship with customers, so really try to stay in contact with them for this first phase.
Okay. Yeah. So onboarding more scalable. So yeah, ramp up the go-to-market motion. They can easily get on the platform. So, well, yeah, appreciate that. So Aurora, really appreciate your time today and sharing your journey. If listeners would like to learn more about Zephy, where should we send them online?
There is a website, Zefi AI, or otherwise feel free also to reach out to LinkedIn to me. It's always a pleasure to answer to SaaS founders, SaaS people, others.
Yeah, that's great. So if you'd like to learn more, check out Zephy, and that's ZEFI dot to learn more. And Aurora, really appreciate your time today and sharing your journey.
It was a pleasure for me.